Hello and welcome to Avis Electronics. My name is Arfwal and I'm the founder and developer of Avis Electronics and Avis Smart Areas. Right, so today's demonstration I'm going to explain to you the journey that we had and the pain points, how and why and where Avis Smart Areas was developed and what are some of the benefits over the traditional forms of areas, the history behind it. So I'm going to run it through so you can understand where it has come from. So let's move to the next slide. Right, so as you know, traditional forms of areas. So number one, obviously from the day of beginning of wearing clothes in human history, obviously. Now we have been wearing clothes and we've been washing and drying clothes. The traditional way we've been doing that is using washing lines, and that would be simply our dot washing line from outside from one pole to other or from one fence to other. So from that, what people started to do is, or people still do, move into a bit more conveniency in terms of washing lines are not convenient, not fitting a lot of clothes. So what do? We then basically went ahead and invented, not us, but I'm talking about in general, everyone, like human race. The human race invented the actual standalone, the metal or plastic clothing lines that actually you see outside, looks like an aerial. Those then started creating a lot of actual space, so you can fit a lot of clothes rather than fitting on one line of clothes. So it gives you in length, it gives you a lot more meters in length than actually fitting from here to there, where if you go circle in a certain length, you can fit a lot more. Okay, so that was great until we realized no, we can possibly improve further. So then it came along into indoor and outdoor traditional forms of areas. So indoor and outdoor, I mean by the traditional metal forms of areas that you see, you can buy them in multiple places, online, offline, or in a supermarket. They're usually metal or plastic. You can put them outside or inside, and if you do put them outside, there's a bit of an issue with wind and stability because they are not attached to the floor. So you have to somehow fix something and sort something out. Now from there, what happened, we started inventing, okay, maybe we can do a wing type of area and also make it a little bit slim and convenient to store. Or some people need no, I've got lots of children and I've got lots of washing to go through, I need more space. So they created the tiers, like 3 tier, 4 tier, whatever you call it, tall ones. Right, okay, we've done everything now, traditional form. Now there is a problem. I mean, in Britain we don't really have a great weather, so what do you do now? I mean, we have to somehow go ahead and resolve the issue. We have to still dry our clothes, right? You can't just put them on the radiator. It's simply because the condensation you get from the radiator is tremendous. You start to get mold and black patches and things on your walls and everywhere. So you are not recommended ever to dry your clothes on radiators. Please don't do that on the central heating or electric radiator. That's a waste of energy at the beginning. It doesn't heat up your house as well. It's costing you a lot more money basically to heat up your house when you have clothes over it. Simple as that. Obviously the condensation and the fact builds off long-term illness, as well as you've got issues with building cost and such. Anyhow, so then it moved to, okay, we'll develop heated or electric clothes line or areas. Now the idea is there's a cable goes inside which heats up, then the material that on top, either aluminium or similar type of material that's obviously safe to use and people have been using for years now, so they're passed through the certificate and quality and everything. So that's not the issue here, that's not the topic here. So the topic is the development and the actual history behind the clothing areas and the products. So what happened then is that people then started using those electric and heated areas, and we have been in the market for over 3 years, and we come in actually with the heated and electrical areas because we are electronic supply business in retail. So we supply electronics, consumer electronics, so we thought we'd sell heated clothes areas for the household. So that's where we come in as well, so as our brand, the Avis in the UK. Now from the heated areas, then issues are a lot. What you have tremendous amount of risk of fire risk, number one. Not just with any heated areas, it's just common sense if you think about it. You can't just leave it on forever. If you have gone to an airport or forgotten about it or somewhere else, not a lot of closed areas have got auto cut off, or the temperature is obviously bearable. It goes up to like between 40 to 45 degrees Celsius maximum, but leaving it on constantly for some time on heat, on a plug, it can cause some issues on any product, not just closed areas. So that's one thing, no control over the actual switch and plug. So then what happened was we started saying, okay, well, how can you improve that? So then next thing was the electricity. Since COVID and the war been going on in obviously Russia and Ukraine, and there's a lot of issues with the shipping line and the inflation, everything gone up. Electricity bills, the energy price has gone up massively over the last few months. Anyhow, we started developing well before that, for past 3 years. Then we were like, okay, so maybe our products is definitely hands down is one of the best solutions for all of this. And here comes the solution. We come and bring in the ABS smart areas. So from the smart areas, what we're doing now, moving to the actual life before the ABS areas for a client, which could be yourself if you're watching it, and say let's move to the lifestyle after. So before our closed areas come into the market, our users lifestyle is pretty much, number one is shorter space. So not everyone has a garden, even if you have a house, or not a big enough garden with enough sunlight that will cover you for the actual the amount of light that you need, the heat you need to dry your clothes efficiently. All right. And number two is living in a block of apartments. You don't have any access to any garden most of the cases anyway, and you wouldn't like to dry your clothes or personal belongings in a garden, a community garden with a block of apartments. Then people also see your stuff. Simple as that, really. And as well as the weather is not really favor in most of the time, and drying clothes outside except summer can be a pain, and even in the summertime it can rain anytime. So these are the issues that we have on a day-to-day basis. Electricity bill is a forever rising cost. The energy bill is going up every time there's an inflation, or day by day you always see the unit prices go up. It never comes down, so you don't have any particular control over how much money you're spending when you're leaving the areas on, and you forget or you don't want to set an alarm. How long can you do that? People's habit does not allow that to commit to something that is least important. I mean, you've got more important things to deal with. You've got children, family, work, lots of other responsibilities. Last thing you can think of, setting an alarm to go and switch off your closed areas, right? I mean, I'm sure that you'd agree. So I'm no different than you. So there you go. Right, so next is health and fire hazard. So I already touched base on that on the previous slide. So health and fire hazard can be lethal, and if it's not properly looked after. You don't want to leave it on for days. Obviously you should leave it on for 4 or 5 hours or overnight, which is more than enough to dry your clothes, as long as obviously the water rinsed prior to you putting that clothes on the areas, right? So excessive use without control, which is also another reason why the life before our areas was not basically as convenient as we would say so in our next slide. Relying on traditional forms of timing plugs. So what a lot of people also used to do, they used to buy their heated clothes areas and they used to put a timing plug on that. So all you could do with the timing plug is like the actual period, how long you want it for, it automatically switches it off. That's it. And there is no other features onto that really, and that's not really convenient. That also sometimes it can be very unreliable depending on if it's set up properly or not, and lots of other things. Obviously there's not a lot of functions that you can really talk about on a timing plug. It's a timing plug, so, or a timer plug if you name it. So this is the life before ABS Smart Areas was invented. So if I was to move to the next part, it's life now. So by that, what it means, what the features our users are benefiting from, and what can you also take advantage of if you were to use our closed areas. Number one is smart control. Now it works with your existing Wi-Fi. You do not need to buy a hub or any kind of additional devices that needs to go between the router or your Wi-Fi and our device. No, it's built-in Wi-Fi. It completely works standalone from its own modules. All right, that's how it decided to develop it. Now every single house in Britain, almost every single one of them has got connection to Wi-Fi or mobile phone or whatever, right? Now when you do, you can then simply connect directly to Wi-Fi to have smart control and the features that you like. However, if you don't have Wi-Fi or router, you can then simply use your mobile hotspot if you like to set it up, or you can also use the traditional form, like simply just from the switch and the plug if you don't want to use any sort of smart features. That's also there. So it's worth buying ours because the actual cost, if you look at some of our competitors without being smart, is a lot higher than us for the same type of actual specifications, where with the smart, the actual additional features you've got is actually a lot cheaper. So it makes sense for you to have it even if you don't have Wi-Fi. So let's say you've got Wi-Fi, since the majority of people do, and that's what happens. So you can download the app on Google or iOS. Now, if you have Apple or Android, it doesn't matter. You can use any other platforms, and you can simply download our app directly and go ahead and use the product. Complete control over exactly how long you want it on for. So it's not just about, you know, having it on like on a timing plug, or you having it sleeping overnight and switching off in the morning. It's not like that anymore. You can have complete control over exactly how you want it for, okay? And you can basically set up a lot of modules to control the actual timing period and when and how long you want it. And it's very self-explanatory. It's not complicated. Anybody can use it. You're using an Android or iPhone phone, you're setting up an alarm or using your clock or your calculator. It's as simple as that. It's like basically a very self-explanatory system. All right. Right, so next is complete control over your bills, which comes through the energy monitoring that our devices does. You have complete visibility how much the app is using or the product is using in terms of your units and electricity. You will be able to actually see the readings, and you'll be able to see the actual amount and quantity, how much you've used over how long of the period. So that's already there on the app, already built, and it lets you read the information for your peace of mind satisfaction, so you know how much you're spending drying clothes and you're not wasting your money more than you need to. And if you are using the areas quite a lot, the heated ones, and you think like, you know, whether it's good enough to put someone to the outdoor washing line to save money on electricity bill even from the smart areas, you can do that too. And you can only do that because you can monitor where you're up to, you know, with your bills because of the statistics that we provide, the readings that we provide, right? And that's automatic. As soon as you connect, as soon as you disconnect, it adds on and basically goes from there. Next thing I think of is you don't have to be in the house anymore if you leave your areas on. So the actual remote on and off facility is there. So as long as you have a Wi-Fi at home, is connected to the internet, and you are outside anywhere you have a connection using your mobile through the app, you can switch it on and off remotely anywhere in the world. If you took a flight, you forgot to switch it off, no problem. If you want to work, you forgot to switch it off, or you think it's been on too long, no problem. If you were to, you know, go to bed, you don't think you want to come downstairs anymore because it's in the kitchen, no problem. You can switch it off from your bed, right? So that's how simple it is. You can remotely switch it on and off. You don't have to be in that room or in that house or in that area anymore. So that's the remote switch on and off module that allows you to have a great advantage over the traditional forms of areas. Right, next is schedule drying time. So schedule drying time is allowing you to pretty much schedule how long you want it for. It's similar to creating schedule on Google Calendar, or like, you know, on your clock of your mobile phone, or similar really. So you would select a time of when it's on for, and you select a time when you want it off for. You can repeat it. You can, you know, set up multiple on and off, or, you know, scheduling. You can do lots of things. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You can do it from the app directly. And the other benefit you get is countdown. So what you can do with the countdown is you can actually decide over how long in future do you want the actual area to be on for. So you could have left the clothes there, and or could be it could be a mom who could be elderly, right? And she said she put some clothes over it, and and she's going to go out. Can you switch on the air in half an hour time? Then what you did, you were like, okay, no problem, I can do that for you. So you went onto the app and you then decided to set up a countdown. Okay, after 30 minutes, switch it on. It will switch on automatically. That's it. That's another benefit you get. It's simple as small as this. Right, so next is the cost is well less than the traditional heated areas. Is simply because it's saving a lot more than traditional areas in your bills. You can literally see on your energy efficiency module that we have got, the electric side of things, you can see on a daily basis report how much you're spending. That's how smart the app is. You can run through a report on a daily basis to see how much you're spending. It's not possible through the actual heated areas that you'd find on a day-to-day basis. You can only do it through ours. Right, so other thing is our app is compatible with hundreds of other smart products in the market. So if you have to buy anything else like a light bulb or maybe a switch or any other similar products from Zigbee or another brand, that will be compatible with our app depending on which brand it is, of course. So you can use just one app to control all your devices, create all the scenes and things like this. And other things I can think of, the last one I'm going to cover today, I've already took a lot of time from you guys, is a set weather scenes or set scenes. You can set scenes like when you open the door, it will open, but you have to have a smart door lock for that you can buy from our website. Give you a great example, which is highly relevant without any of the devices, just to the closed areas. If it comes down to not more winter, it's gone past spring and it's coming to summer, what would you do? So if the actual weather is great, you got more than 20 degrees Celsius and you think the closed areas don't need to be on anymore, then what you can do, you can set up a weather scene, and what it will do is as soon as it goes past your expected or the number of Celsius or degrees Celsius Fahrenheit is set up, as soon as it reaches that, it will switch it off automatically. As soon as it goes under that, it will switch it off automatically. You can do either. It's so flexible, you can do so many scenes, unbelievable. Anyway, you can see lots of other tutorials that we're posting on a regular basis about how to set up the scenes and make it more efficient for you and for your lifestyle. So that's all today, guys, and I've covered a lot, so we are very excited. This product has been launched finally after trying for so long with so many issues with shipping as well as importing, also trying multiple different units, but finally, that's what it takes to develop a great product, and lots of hard work and dedication, never giving up until we achieve what we can achieve to make life better for others. And this is the ultimate happiness that brings in people's life, contributing towards others. And that's what we believe in. I'm definitely sure that's what you believe in. So thank you very much and all the best. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye now.